Hi, my name is Raul Ochoa. I'm in the US Creator team. So I have a use case. This is involving real estate. This specific client had the need to connect to multiple sources of data. That's something that's very common in the real estate industry. So through Creator, we are typically able to do that very easily with built-in connectors. So that's something that Creator is very powerful on. You're able to, by just dragging and dropping, usually build connections that simplify the process for less technical people. However, for real estate companies, sometimes that becomes an issue because there are so many data sources that we don't have all the built-in connectors. So for that instance, we have custom connectors. Now, here I have the application that they kind of use to look at all the data once it gets brought into the application. They wanted to be able to populate different criteria for the data and be able to search it in this manner. So if they were to enter the city name, they wanted to be able to populate the data and see it right away. But for the data to come in, typically it would involve a little more technical knowledge. Something like this would have to be scripted out. That's often very unsecure because they're passing API keys, which are sort of like passwords that are required to access the data. So a better solution became a custom connector. Custom connectors allow the user to hide those API keys. So if there are multiple users of the application, only the administrator has access to those specific security parameters. So typically, a user might come into the Creator application, click under Microservice, click on Create New, select the Connections option, and then on here they would see all the pre-built connections that Creator offers. However, like I mentioned, a lot of these data for real estate companies are not really accessible, so they would have to in turn click on Create Custom Connector. Once they go through the process and enter the security credentials like the API keys, then it becomes very simple for them to just populate the data. It simplifies all of the code that I showed you previously, and then in turn makes it a lot more simple for somebody who's less technical to be able to build these custom connectors. Now, for this specific customer, getting the data was the first obstacle that they had to overcome. So custom connectors helped them out and did that for them. Now, the next process on their use case was that they needed to be able to populate orders for the houses that they were going to try and sell. So they built an estimate generator where they would gather different data points from the data that was originally gathered and created some sort of report. Right now, the report for the user was okay to see it in this line feature. This type of line report was okay for them. But what they wanted was to be able to display this data to their clients in an easier, more simplified, more appealing type. So for that, we have custom record templates. So what record templates are basically different formats to display record data from the application, but displayed in a way that you want it to display. So you have a very simple to use drag and drop interface that you can just select where you want to place images, where you want to place different types of strings and numbers. And then in turn, you are also able to print the data to peripherals like printers or even send them as attachments through emails. So let me go ahead and show you guys. This is actually 2 records of some of the estimates that the client wanted to send out to their customers. And once you click it on here, we actually displaying that record template, but we're displaying it in the detail view of the report. So if you click on More and click on Print to send it out to the printer peripheral, you can see how all the data gets placed very nicely in a nice, very looking format. So in this case, this is something that the customer would print out through their printer. However, this is something that can also be sent out through an email attachment. So after solving these 2 issues, our client feature development kept on going. But these were 2 of the main obstacles that they had, and Creator was able to solve their issues through these 2 features. Thank you.